Okay, YouTube, this little short review, I say short, I can get kind of long-winded at times, but this little short review is going to be on the ATI, Advanced Technologies International, low-profile bolt handle for the Mosin Nagant. This is actually designed to allow you to put a scope back. A lot of people put the scope on the front side or they put it forward. There's some hex tools you can do this, you get a mid or a long relief scope, and those things are fine. You know, I've heard a lot of good reviews for mid and long eye relief scope on these Mosin Nagants, but if I put a scope on this, and I think I probably will, I would like to put the scope back for a regular relief scope. So I went ahead and put a low profile handle on it. You know, the Mosin Nagant handle comes straight out, which means when you turn the bolt, unlike the Steyr that straight pulls, the Mosin comes up and you wouldn't be able to have scope, or you have to have the scope offset, and I didn't want to do that. So I decided to do the ATI bolt handle. So let's talk about it a little bit. A couple of tools you're going to need. They send you the tools that you need other than a drill. You got two drill bits. One is a starter drill bit, and then the other one is for the diameter of the hole you need for the bolt. That's not very well focused. The other one is a little tap set, little hex wrench to put that bad boy in, and then you got a little spacer for some of the bolts. You know, there's different Mosin bolts, and some of them may need this. I'll be honest with you, this is my only negative on this advanced technology is the Mosin bolts are kind of rounded when they come up. They're not flat. So this is never going to be seated properly. I don't care what you do to it. I worked on this quite a bit. I'm going to kind of show you the gap. See how it's from the top angle. There's a little bit of a gap there. You're just never going to get that seated perfect. And it's going to take a little bit of you just feeling like you got it right. In other words, I don't think in their instructions aren't very well done. Their drawings are kind of too simplistic for what you do. When you start tapping into metal, you're drilling and tapping into a bolt that you might have to replace. I would have liked for them to have a little bit better instructions to go with this thing. Maybe video, maybe some photos, but their little drawings, I don't think they're very good. So I will say this about the ATI bolt handle. You need to have a little bit of garage skill. You need to kind of feel comfortable with doing this, or you're going to end up replacing this bolt. So I felt pretty good about it, so I went ahead and did it. Step one, you're going to have to cut the other bolt off. They're going to tell you how deep to cut it, and to be honest with you, there's so many variations of this bolt, and I measured to the amount they said. You know, you have the inside, the depth micrometer like this. I measured what they said, and it was wrong. So you're gonna, that's why I'm saying you gotta have a little bit of garage skill in this. Cut the bolt off. You're gonna have to put it up there, and then just start filing. I took a file, put my my bolt in a vise, and started filing, and then testing the depth, and then filing, and then testing the depth. It took me probably 20 or 30 minutes of filing and testing before I felt comfortable where it was. I probably could have gone a little bit more, and maybe got a little bit better seating here, but like I said, I don't know if you can see it on the film, the Mosin Nagant bolt is rounded everywhere. So it's touching here, but it's touching in the center, so it leaves a gap at the top. So at some point, you're just going to have to accept the fact on this. This is not going to be perfect, but I'll be honest with you, you can't even see it unless you're looking for it. From this standpoint, it's a pretty good fitting bolt handle. So cut the bolt off, file the bolt until and I'd tape it off because your file's going to slip once or twice. I don't care how good you are. Then once you feel like you've got it where you want it, it's time to put the bolt handle on there. I clamped it down, and then I made my mark. Now here's where that garage skill comes in handy. Your mark has to be pretty much perfect on here, because when you cut the bolt handle off, you leave a little bit of that bolt stem. That's what keeps it from rotating. That's what allows it to be solid. So once you put it on there, you need that bolt, this hex bolt, and that hole to be pretty much perfect. So be real careful about that. Measure your hole exactly where you want it. Go ahead and take a punch. Take a little punch and make a little dent there so that your drill bit doesn't dance around. I didn't use a drill press. I never do when I tap and die. I think if you're cautious, you're not going to go very deep in this. Take your drill bit, measure it out, put a piece of tape on there so you know how deep you want to be, and then go cautiously. Just, be smart. Don't get in a big hurry. I use some cutting oil on it. That'll help you a little bit. But I don't think you need a drill press for this. You're not going to go that deep. So you're going to make your first cut with a smaller one, and then you're going to make your second cut with the larger drill bit, and then you're going to tap and die. And if you've never tapped and die, here's a hint for you. Tapping and dying is pushing in and turning, then turning back. Pushing in and turning back. It's a time-consuming thing. Have patience. Don't get too big of a hurry. And if you do that, when you get done, this handle will bolt right on and you will be happy with it. A couple other things that I learned about this is once you put it on there, you're going to have to cut the stock out right here. I don't care what kind of stock you have. You're going to have to cut the stock out. I decided to take a long wedge shape on it just because it's at an angle back. You can see it angles back a little bit. So I took quite a bit. And you want the head space on this bolt to be perfect. So don't get in a hurry here. Go ahead and keep testing it. Make sure that you can slip a little piece of paper behind that so you have this bolt going all the way down. So that you got your head spacing proper in the bolt. So once you're done, I think it works great. It doesn't look solid. I put a little Loctite on the, I didn't put a little, I put quite a bit of Loctite actually on the hex screw when I put it in there. And a Mosin bolt is very stiff. You almost feel like you're going to break it when you open the thing. And even though the Mosin bolt is really stiff, this little bolt handle feels really solid. I've been impressed with it. I've gone out and shot this gun quite a bit. This thing's got a little bit of recoil. Thing is still on there solid. I think it looks better than any of the bent things, those welded on. It's easier than threading a raw piece of rod, then tapping a hole and then screwing that in there. I just think, all in all, scale of 1 to 10 on quality, I'd give it an 8 or a 9. Easy to use. If you've got a little bit of garage skill, I'd say it's an 8 or 9 again. Looks, I think it looks better than all the bent painted bolt handles. I think it goes with the rifle and it looks pretty good. So I give the ATI bolt handle a thumbs up or 2 thumbs up or a like or whatever you want to say. It's a good product. All right, have a good day, good hunting.